We're here with Ralph Keyes, author of I Love It When You Talk Retro, Hoochie Coochie, Double Whammy, Drop a Dime, and the Forgotten Origins of American Speech. Ralph, can you tell me where the phrase cha-ching comes from?
Lots of people wonder, Walter. One guy in Queens even thought that might be Mandarin for money and asked some Chinese friends. It wasn't. The phrase actually comes from a 1992 ad for Rally's Hamburgers that featured a fast food guy at a rival chain who shouts, "Cha-ching!" Cha-ching is a retroterm. Retroterms are words and phrases that are rooted in our past. Here's another one from an ad for Wendy's Hamburgers.
Where's the beef?
Retroterms come from a lot of different places: old book titles, old comic strip characters such as Alphonse and Gaston, or ancient political cartoons. This one from 1812 is the first appearance of the term gerrymander. Some enemies of Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry had said that his party's redistricting plan reminded them of a big salamander that they dubbed gerrymander. Then there's Rubenesque, one of the few favorable ways to refer to overweight women, which began with voluptuous beauties painted by the Dutch artist Peter Paul Rubens. Here's a drawing of prisoners marching in lockstep over a century ago, a common practice back then. Today we applied that term to rigid conformity. And here's an actual ad for snake oil from about the same time. The guy who sold that brand, Clark Stanley, called himself the Rattlesnake King. He was the original snake oil salesman. Now, when we say someone has moxie, we hark back to a soft drink from the same era that was the pepper-upper of its day. In its time, moxie was so popular that a song was even written about it. Dance cards were popular among those who did the foxtrot. Women used them to jot down who they'd be dancing with. Here's an actual dance card from a party held in Dartmouth College in 1907. That's what we refer to when we say, "My dance card's full." I learned lots of things like this while researching I Love It When You Talk Retro. One thing I discovered was that the term tabloid began with a new kind of compressed medical tablet introduced in Britain more than 100 years ago. I also found out that juggernaut comes from a huge wagon representing a Hindu deity that could roll right over anyone who got in its way. And that the phrase stump speech originated with European settlers who observed Indians orating on tree stumps. That's me giving a stump speech, or trying to look like I am anyway. Old movies are a great source of retroterms. In weekly serials, for example, cliffhanger endings were sometimes just that. In honor of movie character Mrs. Robinson, the older woman played by Anne Bancroft in The Graduate, who tried to seduce Dustin Hoffman, we still call a seductress like her Mrs. Robinson. This is easier to say than an older woman who hits on a younger man. More fun, too. Another iconic movie character, Nurse Ratched, was the frigidly nasty psychiatric nurse played by Louise Fletcher in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Colin Powell once said that Condoleezza Rice brought Nurse Ratched to mind. Now, here are the ankles of my wife Muriel and our friend Eileen. They're both wearing bobby socks. This 50s fashion statement gave birth to the term bobby sockser, referring to giddy, trend-conscious teenagers, the type who might be found wearing rolled white socks while swooning at a Frank Sinatra concert or spinning some Perry Como platters in their bedroom. Long after bobby socks had gone the way of saddle shoes and 45 RPM records, a friend of Bill Clinton said that intern Monica Lewinsky had a bobby sockser crush on the president. Old folks get in trouble when they use retro terms like bobby sockser. What is anyone below the age of 40 supposed to make of such terms? Those who use them might as well hang a sign around their neck reading, "Older yacker at work. No one under 40 need pay attention." Hardball's Chris Matthews is a world-class retro yacker. He's always using phrases like Perry Como calmness, Borscht Belt, Blue Plate Special, and who knows, Kimosabe? That's why I call Matthews the king of retro talk. The queen of retro talk is Maureen Dowd of the New York Times. Dozens of Dowd's columns I've got include retro terms like Kumbaya Moment, Nosy Parker, Ma Barker, Palin's Imelda Marcos Moment, and Hillary's Inner Eve Harrington. You could look them up. If you're under 40, you might have to. Well, so long, Saddle Pals. If you'd like more information about I Love It When You Talk Retro, you can find it on Facebook or at my website.